It's another edition of The Reset. Happy opening day as the Mariners is going to be their day against the A's. Also coming up right now, we're going to have G. Scott Jr. join the show to talk about his pro day. Let's go.
It's The Reset with G. Scott.
Cat, we got company today. And you know how when you got company, you got to make sure we give them a firm, nice introduction, introduce them everybody to the barbecue. So our guest today was the starting tight end on the national championship Ohio State Buckeye team.
Bow, bow, bow.
Born and raised in Seattle. You got some love for that. And happens to be my son. G. Scott Jr. joins us. What's going on, son?
Hey, how's it going?
We're good. We want to get right into it. It was pro day yesterday. It was a day where a total of 140 people there to represent all 32 NFL teams. Yesterday, you and 16 other of your teammates performed in front of everyone in the practice facility. How did yesterday go for you?
Yeah, well, I know. I don't know if we're live right now, but I could. Everybody's gone, by the way. Just want to let you guys know on my end, I can't see anybody no more.
Okay.
You're
good.
Are we like live?
We're live. We're live.
We live.
All right, let's go. All right. Well, it is what it is. So how did yesterday go? Yesterday was great. I think it was a big opportunity.
It's The Reset.
We good. Oh, now you're gone. All right, whatever. But it was a good opportunity for me to be able to showcase my abilities. Unfortunately, I wasn't given an opportunity to go and to Indianapolis and do the combine myself. But it was a big dream of mine to be able to do that. But without getting that opportunity, it was good to still be able to get out there for pro day and showcase my abilities. I think overall, I had a really good day.
What were you most impressed with what you did? We know there's all different events. There's the vertical, there's the bench press, there's the 40, there's you, the cone drills, there's you showing off your route running. What was the one thing yesterday that you loved that you did the most?
Yeah, it'd be hard to say one. I'm going to answer that question, but I think overall, that my overall body of work was something that I'm most proud of just for, all together. But if I had to choose one thing, that 225 bench press, I hit 25 reps. That was something I was very proud of.
Period.
It was something that, it was actually a personal PR of mine. I kind of got stuck at 24 for the past year or two of my life. So it was cool to hit that 25. But also I can't look past the 40-yard dash. I think they ended up clocking me at it's all unofficial, but I think they ended up writing me down for a 4.60, which would have been, the fastest tight end at this year's combine. So that's pretty big, though.
Love that.
Bet. Speaking about impressive, I'm impressed. I was on your social media page last night just stalking, and I saw that you are a very strong Christian. Can you talk to us about what inspired you to be so bold and so vocal about your faith? I'm also a Christian, so hey, I'm with you right now. But talk about what was this shift? What was this? What inspired you to be so vocal and lead like a baptism, I believe, with your team?
Yeah, I think everything that you were able to see externally is a fruit and a result of a radical saving and something that took place internally inside my heart. And I think it's been amazing over the last few years. I've been blessed with some great opportunities to be able to minister the Word of God to very, very many people, and it's been an amazing thing to take place in. But I think more importantly, before I'm able to minister the Word of God, there had to be an internal thing that took place. And I think around the time of early 2023, late 2022 was when I began this walk with the Lord. And I always had this idea of who God was, and what people basically my relationship with God is what everyone else had to say about God. And I kind of made a declaration in my life at one point, was like, man, I'm tired of what everyone else has to say about God. Lord, if you're real, I want to know who you are for myself. And when I embarked on that journey is when my life began to sincerely change.
How does that, leaning on your faith, son, how does that help you or help navigate through this career in football that you've had? I'd assume that there's a lot of adversity that happens with football. It's not all about winning. There's a lot of things that happen. How do you lean on that faith, and how does that faith help you out in your career?
Yeah. I lean on my faith in many ways. I can answer that question going down so many avenues. I think, to answer that question is very hard just to point at one thing. But with that being said, the first thing that comes to my mind is actually, you kind of hit on it, is the idea of going through adversity and this ability to handle adversity, which is kind of contrary from the world that you per se would handle adversity. I think oftentimes people see adversity as something bad or to be upset of, or upset about, and it's something that we tend to want to pray out of. Like, God, get me out of this adversity. I don't want anything to. We want to pray for everything to always be good. But when you're surrendered to Jesus Christ, you understand that He is working all of these things together for your good. So whether it's a good season, a bad season, whatever you're going through in life, you can have a faith and a hope that there is a refined and a better yourself on the other side of what you're going through. And so I think having that hope, faith, has driven me to have the ability to keep hope and faith through all the circumstances I go through, whether that's winning a national championship or not winning a national championship, going to the combine, going to the combine, getting the promotion or not getting the promotion. Regardless of what it may look like externally, I do know that there's a sovereign God that has a will over my life. And despite how it looks externally, I know that He's in control.
You mentioned you had a successful pro day yesterday. It was good for you. You had a lot of personal records that set for yourself yesterday. So help us understand what is next for you. The NFL draft is next month, April 24th to be exact. What's the next phase for you, son?
Yeah, I think, the phase as right now is, it's always been the motto, is just taking, one day at a time. And I think during this a little bit of a dead zone for a couple weeks, and I think this is definitely an opportunity for guys even around the ready to transition to the NFL, that you can kind of slack off if you're not careful. And so just to make sure you're staying disciplined and having integrity with your work, and making fresh and good shape. I have some workouts that are coming up this month. One coming to Seattle, another one out here in Cincy as of right now. And I think what's important is staying in great shape, and staying prepared and staying ready, so I don't got to get ready.
Wait, Cat.
That was a bar.
The bar was there. But if you're watching right now, did anybody catch that? Y'all just heard some news. Hold up. Run that back again. You said you had some workouts, and you said you had some workout with some teams. Did you say Seattle?
Yeah. I received an invitation to come out there, and do a workout there in early April.
Come on, Seattle.
Come on now.
What's in Seattle? What team's in Seattle?
The Seahawks.
Oh, I need that reminder real quick.
Okay. So, man, that was some news broke right here on the show.
He just dropped that. That effortlessly.
But real quick though, look, as some of you all know, some kids on spring break, they went to Disneyland.
Yeah, or
some
Miami.
kids went to. So a lot of kids got to do a lot of things. This kid right here was at the Seahawk facility cleaning cars on his spring break. When you find out that you have an opportunity to come work out with the Seattle Seahawks, a team that you obviously grew up around your whole life almost, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a surreal moment. It's a surreal moment when you've had these dreams and these aspirations ever since you were younger, and when them things start to become a reality, it's definitely something that it's amazing, and it's something that I'm so grateful for, to be in this opportunity, to have this, like I said, opportunity to be able to embark on this journey I'm getting ready to go on. And I just, as I go on this journey, I'm just making sure to be grateful as I go through it, because I think it's easy once you get things to become complacent and it's just the new normal. But I want to always kind of keep that feeling of being a kid in a candy store, that this is amazing, and it's a true blessing to be able to play this game that I love for my profession, for my career.
What does a team get? If a team, there's 32 teams, and we don't know what team that you'll land with, but let's just say an NFL team does land G. Scott Jr. If you were in an interview with the team right now, who are they getting if they get you?
Yeah, I think before I would say anything on the field, I would start by talking about who you would get off the field. Someone who is a true servant leader and someone who truly embarks on the journey of putting others before themselves and leading in that way. I think there's a true art to that. And I think, so, yeah, like I said, someone who's selfless. And then I would let the film kind of speak for itself of the kind of football player you're going to get.
I like hearing that. How much does Ohio State and the program that you played with help with, building you guys up, developing you guys to be good NFL pros?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just said this in an interview yesterday that Ohio State as a program, Ohio State football is it's the pinnacle of college football. In my opinion, like these great programs, they prepare you all the way around, and that's why you kind of see that guys that come from here end up becoming successful NFL players, or if they're not successful NFL players, they're successful men just in life. Because the kind of lessons that you learn here are able to be translated through all things that you do throughout life. And so I'm very grateful to call myself a Buckeye, but not only any Buckeye, but a national championship winning one. So,
hey, before you go, we got one more minute with him, and don't you find it interesting, son, that your former roommate is dang near the face of Seahawk football here in the city that you were born and raised in? Like, what do you, when you see Jackson Smith and Jigba doing all these things, having this success, fans here loving them, what do you think when you see that?
It's exciting. It's someone who's, I believe, is very deserving. I think it's pretty cool to see it now because, I think the same Jackson that they're seeing now is the same Jackson that I met back in 2020, and I believed all along that he was capable of being the player that he is today. And so we were actually just on FaceTime earlier this morning, talking about just our futures and our goals and the things that we want to be able to do. And so I'm happy is even the word that I am for Jackson, and I think the best is actually yet to come for him.
Love it. All right, man. Well, hey, enjoy the rest of the day. Hey, man, how was that steak that we had the other night?
Steak was the truth. It was great. I don't even know what the spot was called, but
the Avenue.
The Avenue. This ain't even no promotion. That was the truth.
All right, man. Well, hey, have a good rest of the day. Love you, man.
All right, love you too. Thank you guys for having me on.
You got it. Man, we're going to take a quick little break because it is opening day, and we're going to be bringing on Lyle Goldstein from the Marine Layer podcast to talk the Mariners, baby. Let's go.
Nation.
All right, we are still live. We have a little thing up there. The mics are muted. Do we have the chat live here, or I'm going to disconnect G. Scott Jr. Not a lot of people in the chat. Only one person. Kevin was saying that he hopes that G. Scott Jr. goes to Seattle. That's the only chat we got right now. Okay, I was like, you pulled it up though, but I can't pull it up on my end. Is it not? Loud, come on in, bro.
Ready for me? Okay. Yeah. So, Kat.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Oh yeah, I got a blue. You're gonna take my spot.
That's in there?
So nice and blue for you.
That's our far shot.
Yeah, so that one's got to go back that way, right?
Yeah. Set up that two shot right there. This looks really good. This whole setup and everything. Does it zoom out more?
Yeah, they're just fully zoomed in. So.
We're doing like an opening day vlog from this one. Oh, nice. Yeah.
What camera is that one? Two. All right.
Oh, you need me to test it? No, and Jude's got that right there. Okay. What up, Lyle? How are we? Oh, man.
Hey, Paul.
We about to
Yes.
get into it.
We can turn that feedback from over above on in the video.
I wasn't. Were you hearing?
Yeah.
Were you hearing
No, I would
something?
turn it
I said
on.
this setup.
Okay. Yeah, that's how they hear.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
okay.
through the speaker.
Fair.
So
Then they will catch it then. We're fine.
yeah, I just probably need to do it. Okay.
I'm sure
Mm,
Mark
that
has done that.
is a good question. That might be.
Stop. Yep. Right there.
It's gotta be at least like 10.
And then take that contrast, put that contrast a little bit more in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I usually roll in when the sun's.
What was that? Where was that one? Was that the? not the iris or anything.
It's just called contrast.
Out, but as soon as that 7:30 sunset hit, it get cold.
Yeah, it does.
And you thought you could wear the outfit you were wearing at 3 o'clock, you know?
You know, in March.
Trying to see which
I always
where
bring
that one
like a
was.
layer
Come on.
like that.
Yep.
What's the deal?
Just trying to find. So it's.
Would you guys?
So we're on camera 2.
Yeah.
Come over here now. To the
Oh,
cameras.
okay, gotcha.
Go to the third one.
Oh, did you just
Contrast.
talk to him? Oh, I knew you were having him on, but I didn't realize. I figured
And
maybe.
then probably take it in a little so we get rid of that light, right?
Which one?
See how that light is just
Oh
slightly.
yeah.
Is that
Punching a little bit then.
stuff we talk about? Just
Actually, I'll move that light a little bit back.
studio
Yeah.
audio or whatever. So.
And let's get camera
Got
3.
some good sound bites. Got him talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Heck yeah. Okay, we're good.
You gonna move the mic closer or further away?
I'll bring it a little bit more closer to you.
Now I'm working on camera 3 there.
Yeah, that looks good.
Perfect.
Do you do we need to go down on the headspace on camera 3 there?
Okay, camera 3.
Yeah, camera 3 right there.
Yeah, I'll
So-
make that shot.
Thank you, by the way, Patrick.
No problem. It's my job.
Never going for TV. Yes.
Oh, that's all right.
No, it's not your fault. No, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
Oh,
If I would have known, what I'm saying is, if I'd have known the transition was going to be like this, I just wouldn't have set it up.
gotcha.
I just would have stayed with the opening day.
That makes sense. When you do have cat outside from like all this stuff, whatever.
I wear a couple hats. I work for Hate by Seattle, which is a local company building just curating a space for like Black entrepreneurship, life, all these things. Then I have a live news right here. And I also am a musician, artist, so I perform locally. Yeah,
It's really cool.
that's what got me into the world.
Hold on, Paul.
You don't mind.
Okay. Good. Are you like born and raised here?
Born and raised. Yeah. What do you
Don't
like?
step on the
$200 cables.
You be
Well,
hustling. I've seen your content.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It's dope.
Yeah,
So this is
thank
live,
you.
but when we get ready to put this back out,
Do a
there'll
lot
be
of
a way
that.
to.
We do. We
edit
start
this?
like an.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit out this whole thing, and then when the video goes up, it'll just go right into the same things. So it'll just be like this for the live one, but the video will be more together.
But the reason I know G is because I'm on the morning show, morning sports show in the morning. So and G's known those guys forever.
Maybe bring it a little closer.
Yeah.
On camera 3.
No, you're good. I'm talking loud.
Closer.
Yeah, a little closer.
Okay.
Right there. We're good. All right, perfect.
So yeah. So
Sweet. Yeah, we're ready over here.
I'm just taking a nap, waiting to because I needed it.
Come on now.
All right, everyone, I'm about to unmute the mics here.
Intro, we're just coming right in, right?
I'm gonna cut it right to you here in a second.
Where should I be looking?
We're doing it.
Well, I mean, I know you.
No, I'm gonna come right back to you. Just say welcome back to the reset. Yeah.
Okay. Just look at G.
And then, all right, I'm gonna unmute the mics here now. So your mics are about to go hot.
Welcome back into the reset. It is opening day. There's a lot of you good people that's going to be over at T-Mobile Park. I'm here, and of course, my good friend Kat Stokes is here as well. But we do have a guest here on the show. He's from the Marine Layer podcast. His name is Lyle. He's also one of the producers for Brock and Salk on the Seattle Sports Station. Lyle, thanks for being here, man.
Gee, this is cool. Thanks for having me.
That's it. Opening day is happening. A lot of folks is going to be heading on over to T-Mobile Park. First of all, what kind of season can we expect knowing that the Mariners have the best pitching in baseball?
It's interesting, and I think there's a wide range of outcomes. When you have a rotation like they have,
Yeah.
their ceiling is the World Series, because we've seen teams in the past that get into the playoffs. Maybe they're a wild card team. They win 85 to 87 games, but they ride their pitching. If the Mariners just get in, and this is what people say about them every year for good reason, they get into the field, they can win the World Series because their starting pitching is that good that it can ride you through the postseason.
Okay, well, they had starting pitching last year that was good. And a lot of people last year, they said things like, hey, all they have to do is address the bats. All they have to do is get some more hitting. This offseason, what happened, Lyle?
Man, who said things like that? I'm trying to think. Who said things like that?
The block is hot.
I watch the Marine Layer podcast. I hang on all the words that you two be saying. I've seen you guys address this topic. Help.
Well, maybe once or twice. I would say, yes, they needed to address bats. And the reason I think there's a wide range of outcomes for this season and not just definitively saying, yeah, they're going to win 90-plus games, they're the favorites to win the AL West, they're American League favorites. The reason they're not that is because their offense on paper lacks. Could things go differently? Sure. Last year, a lot of guys didn't perform. Guys were supposed to live up to expectations that didn't, and a lot of guys collectively had down years. So I think there was a wide set opinion, and for good reason, that they needed a little bit more. They needed to add a little bit more in the offseason offensively, and I think that is why people are going into this season somewhat a little bit skeptical about what the offense could be. But if guys can play the way they're supposed to play with the roster they do have, because it's very similar to last year, right? Because ultimately they probably didn't add enough. So if guys, that being said, play the way they're supposed to play, you could look at a team that, again, still wins 90-plus games and is favored to win the AL West. That's what I think. But in terms of what happened last year and what they didn't address, yeah, that's why people said what they said rightfully, because on paper, I think there is a little bit to be desired.
Thinking about expectations, like you said, collectively, which is kind of rare, because what most of the people have been saying is Julio didn't perform. I'm going to be real with you. As a collective, who are you looking to warm up on these bats? Because I'm going to be real with you. I think they did answer some of the batting problem when they brought in Edgar. When they brought Edgar back in, like, they were the top 3 offense, like, near the end of the season after that slump. So what are things, including Julio, what are you looking for with specific players, with specific things to do on the bat, on base, to switch it around for us?
Yeah, there's a bunch. And you bring up a good point. When Edgar and Dan Wilson came in last year, things changed.
It changed.
They had a good final 6 weeks. It wasn't quite enough to get them into the playoffs, but things did change. And ultimately, because they didn't go after a lot of bats this offseason, that is clearly their message, is we don't feel like we need a lot. We feel like the change in philosophy and the change in coaching is enough. And we're going to see how that shakes out over 162 games. Are they right? We don't know yet. But in terms of what you bring up, Kat, in terms of who we should look for to change and hopefully improve this year, Julio's at the top of the list. There's no doubt. When Julio goes, the offense goes. When Julio's playing at the top of his game, he can be an aircraft carrier. And that's what happened in the last 6 weeks. Yeah, that's a good terminology, right?
That was good.
You
Aircraft carrier?
Yeah.
Okay. That is what he's paid to be. That is who he's expected to be, an aircraft carrier. And he wasn't that in the first 4.5 months of last year. A lot of 2023, he wasn't that. What was the difference in 2022? He was that guy. And they made the playoffs that year. So I think Julio getting off to a faster start is huge, because that has not been his bread and butter over the last couple of years. And there's guys around him that just need to do a little bit more. Randy Arozarena can do a little bit more. J.P. Crawford can do a little bit more. Mitch Garver can definitely do a little bit more. Guys like that.
All right, we're going to have some fun conversations, because a lot of us are going to be going to T-Mobile Park. By the way, stick around. I got a bonus for some of you guys. I got some way for you to win something today. I'll get to that here in a second. But I want to talk about a conversation that, as you all know, Lyle, he is one of the producers for the Brock and Salk Show on the Seattle Sports Station. Well, during the breaks, I always come in, and of course on Fridays, I'm there at 8:30 to just hang out with him. But during the break, I asked this question, and you can answer it in the chat if you want to. Here's the question that I asked. Who has the higher expectation, the Mariners or the Seahawks? I said that every year the Seahawks have a higher expectation because it is playoffs and they're Super Bowl or bust, it feels like. Whereas I said the Mariners, it just seems like, yeah, the expectations are high, but they're not Seahawks high. And Lyle, did you agree or disagree with me?
Yeah, I'm not with that. I take the other side of this argument.
You think you think that there is a higher expectation on Mariner baseball than Seahawk football?
Okay, let me phrase it like this. I think people have gotten more used to seeing the Seahawks achieve greatness. And for that reason, expectations year over year are higher.
That's good.
Right now, after 2022, I think there is more. How do I even say this the right way? It's like fans are very angry, and it's at the just drive to see this team be great for the Mariners. And the reason for that is, I think, to your point, when people look at the Mariners and say, yeah, they don't always we're not used to seeing them accomplish greatness, right? So for that reason, expectations sometimes can be a little bit down. I think that was 100% true pre-2022. Because before 2022, there's a whole generation of fans, me included, who have no memory of them ever being in the playoffs. After they made the playoffs, you started to see a bit of a shift in the culture. It became less of being kind of the lovable team in town that just can't quite get there, to, well, now we've gotten there. We've tasted it. Where is the drive to get this team over the top? And a lot of people feel like there are parts of the organization that maybe don't feel that same drive that the players have and that the coaches have. And as a result of that, like, you see a lot of fans, it does not take a lot of searching to find Mariners fans that are very, very frustrated these days. All you have to do is scroll through our comment section to see it every day.
It's crazy. Crash Out Nation is
right.
Crash Out Nation.
Or if you want to scroll through the Brock and Salk text line on a daily basis, same thing.
Right.
So I'm not saying that Seahawks fans do not have a high expectation of their team and a drive to see them be great. I'm saying I think there's actually just a little more vitriol on the Mariners side all of a sudden. One, because they've done it less. And two, because there was such a change after they made the playoffs. Everybody's saying, give us more. We need more.
How much, hey, Kat, how much of the frustration is it that you guys know, Mariner fans know that they have the pitching? And so, therefore, because you know they have the pitching, you're saying, there might be never another time in our lifetime that we see pitching like this.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a combo. I think it's not only having the best pitching, like the bullpen in the game right now. It's also just like a stress fracture. You keep hitting the same injury over and over again, and you're gonna snap one day. So we're looking at this. Even last year, iconic pitching. We have Castillo, which I got on the back of my shirt. You cannot see. We have B. Woo. We have Gilbert. We have. We also have a switch pitcher, and I'm not even gonna try and say his name because I know you can. Say it for me.
You want me to pronounce it for everybody?
Yes.
Okay. It is Jurangelo Senja.
Is it Jurangelo for real like this?
Jurangelo
Senja. Okay, bro.
Not D'Angelo.
But he pitched both hands in one inning. You don't see that. You mean you tell me you have one glove on, throw that thing, and you're like, 1 sec. Put the glove back on the other hand and throw it, and it's still 90 plus 90. So you're seeing iconic things that are like nowhere else found in the league. And then again, I don't have this problem, but then you have this stress fracture of like ownership. We're not spending money. We're not seeing like Juan Soto contracts like up here just balling out. So we're sitting here like we just mad. It's
Is that what you want? Hey, Mariner fans, in the chat, is that what y'all want? Do y'all want the superstar paid that $300 million? Is that what y'all want?
So let me answer this. Yes, I would love.
I was like, if you don't say yes, I'm gonna say it for you.
I would love to see the upper echelon players sign in Seattle. That would be awesome. But honestly, I think where a lot of the frustration comes from is a lot of fans weren't even expecting the Juan Sotos of the world to sign here. They said, okay, he got $765 million. We just can't pay that.
Not doing that. Like, we're not doing that.
Where the frustration came is some of the above average players that went for reasonable money in free agency that they also didn't go after. There are guys that are a little less impactful than Juan Soto that were more in a reasonable price range that they also didn't go get. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration lies.
Well, I tell you, I like this Lyle from the Marine Lair. This dude brings the fire. That's why I wanted him on, because I want to talk baseball with somebody that's got that fire. And he doesn't sound like a robot. That's you. I said it. A lot of folks talking Mariners, you sound like damn robots. Well, because, the war, the WAR, and shut up. Anyways, finally we got somebody with some passion. All right, before you go, and I'm going to tell you on how you guys can win something, but real quick, answer this. You can only have one food at T-Mobile. What is it and why? Lyle, start us off. Kat, you next.
Ooh.
One food at T-Mobile. It's pretty cliche, but probably garlic fries. It's so unique.
Come on, baby. Come on, man. You got it?
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better than the garlic fries. I don't care all about the new corn dogs, new Ichi wings, new this. Give me them damn garlic fries. What you got, Kat?
I'm about to say the opposite of y'all. So you got to go to Tamari Bar, okay? And they got the kimchi. No, it's not kimchi. But it's fried chicken and rice, and it's just so bomb. But it's bougie. You ain't go to the baseball game to get.
First of all, who's trying to go to a game where you gotta do all this? Let's just keep it simple, baby. Like this, like that.
Because you gotta catch stuff. If you gotta catch something and then you eating the garlic fries, nah. You got your fork. You eat. Your hands clean.
First of all, you ain't wearing no damn glove at the stadium anyways, are you?
I'm gonna just
raw
that thing. No, I'm gonna just catch it with my hand.
Okay.
Ball out.
Lyle, you ain't wearing no gloves. You too old
No,
for that,
I haven't worn a glove to a game since I was probably, 10 or 11.
Yeah. Lyle, you gotta come on again, man.
Happy to do it.
No, seriously. Like, hey, make sure you can check it out. They're on Instagram, the Marine Layer Podcast. Check them out. Listen, when it comes to baseball, which, by the way, used to be my first love in the 80s, baseball was my first love. And then, the 90s and then the steroids, whatever about that. But one thing I like about and love about the Marine Layer, they actually make talking baseball, they make it fun. So tonight, they'll be over at T-Mobile Park. Cat Stokes will be over at T-Mobile Park. I will be over at T-Mobile Park. Here's the deal, though. I'll make you guys a deal. If you find me, the first person that finds me over at T-Mobile Park, guess what? I'm going to pay for you $50 of whatever concessions you want. All you got to do is find me. You see me in the stadium, I'll be there. You see what I'm wearing? I'll be wearing this right here. I don't know. I might change the hat. I might change the hat, put a Mariner hat on. But, hey, make sure you subscribe, please. Subscribe, no doubt. Send it to your friends. That way you know what's happening. Plus, we appreciate last week. We had the second most views on the show, so we're grateful for all of you all. Lyle, thank you.
G, Kat, this has been awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lyle.
Kat, appreciate you, my friend.
Always happy to be here.
All right. Appreciate you rocking with me. Love you. Wait, whoa. I want to give some love to Paul. Paul is our engineer back there. Paul is actually wearing a Mariners. As you guys know, he be rocking the Colorado Rockies, but he's wearing Griffey, the kid's jersey right now. All right. There he is right there in his jersey. Hey, we got to go. Appreciate you rocking with us. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.